focus, 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 focus. Just stay focused, just stay focused.
Been waiting to get in this game, could barely keep up with the reasons. Been focused on eating and keeping my family together. You know some I no longer reason, still holding no grieving. And striving to get to a place where they see that we overachieving. Holding no secrets, giving to all of my peeps in the gutter who struggle for decent.
Well, as a family, we're doing it again last year, around 8 months ago. We read the book Secure the Bag, and we went chapter by chapter, and we discussed that as a family. So now what we're doing, I look delayed. So now what we're doing, we're now going to read and discuss 50th law.
Boom.
So yes, we all have a book. So if anybody want to join in with us next time, you're welcome to join with us next time. We'll be on chapter 2. Yeah, chapter 2. We're coming in to discuss. So now we're discussing, and you all just jump in. You ain't wait till I say anything. We're going to some discussion. We're doing the introduction and chapter 1. Now, the reason why we chose this book is because we wanted something to read. What else? What else would we read? You all see, we got a lot of other Robert Greene books as well. 40 Laws of Power, The Law of Human Nature, then there's another book, The Law of Seduction, and what's another book? Mastery, right? It's another book. So we're going to read 50th Law. We always tell my students to read 40 Laws of Power, but I ask them to go ahead and read 50th Law first.
You still going in and out, man?
Am I?
I don't know if it's like the way you talking or something, because you started off okay.
Okay.
And it's kind of like going in and out, like, okay. Well, low and high, like.
Okay, so I need to just talk like high all the time.
Yes, like a robot.
Like a robot. Okay, you all ready? So let's go ahead. Am I better now? Better now?
Yeah.
All right, so the introduction, I'm going to read what it says in the introduction. So over you, the greatest enemy a man can have is fear. I know some of you are afraid to listen to the truth. You have been raised on fear and lies, but I'm going to preach to you the truth until you are free of that fear. Malcolm X. So basically the introduction, what they're saying is to that fearful attitude. And when I was reading this, and I have a lot of things that's underlined also, and it's talking about the fearful attitude is a simple emotion for the human animal. That's what I highlighted. Did you all notice that? You looked at that as well? The simple emotion is the human animal. Simple emotion of the human animal, so it's fear. So automatically, what I get out of that is automatically we have that fight or flight. So it's a protective function that was part of not the intelligent brain, but more of
the instinctual part.
The instinctual part. Right. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. So the instinctual, so we allowed us to notice danger and retreat or to fight. So automatically, the fearful attitude comes to there. So I'm still on that first page, and I also have underlined, remember the source of the threat and protect ourselves better the next time. So when we end up having fear, we're supposed to innately remember that threat for next time. So when it happens again, we know how to either protect ourselves or we know how to either run away. So it's remember, I know Mark always say, the body remembers what the brain can't. Is that what he said? He said the body remembers what the brain can't comprehend. He said something like that. So when somebody ends up messing up, he let them fall. He said, okay, the body gonna remember that. Okay, like when a baby
touch that stove.
Right. Like you tell them stop, 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 don't touch the stove, and then they end up touching it. Oh, hot. They're not gonna touch it. Or when they fall off the bed.
Yeah. So it's kind of like but it sounds like kind of like our immune system works. Like when they say when you get a specific disease or when you get a specific virus, you get sick at first, and then the second time it comes, your body automatically knows to
Fight it.
fight it and attack it, and it won't, you won't have the symptoms of it.
Right, right. So even what's happening now. So they say fear is the oldest and strongest emotion known to man, something deeply inscribed in our nervous system. You just said that in the subconscious. You just said that. Good. So like the immune system. So I read. Anything I keep
What? Well, I can't hear you.
is anything you have. Um, then I like to say we started to worry about. Oh, this is the part I liked. They say when you think about, and I remember I telling you this, Dre. I remember telling you this when you was a kid. I always say by the time, a lot of times by the time you're 30 years old, you could care less about what people think about you. You're not in that, so there's that fear is not there, and that's why I always wonder why people always they want people to they want people to like them. They worry about the status they are in their in the society, what type of car they're driving. What the, you understand? Keeping up with the Jones.
I need to start on highlighting things till about page 8.
Page 8. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this then. So I highlighted a lot of stuff between page 8, 1 and 8. You too, Dre.
Say what?
You too. Okay, here's something I want to add because I asked you about the evolution of fear is when people when people we seeing stuff over and over at being advertised. I end up saying more on how COVID is being happening now in the news, and even though yes it is there, people getting sick, but the news is we're looking at it so much, people getting anxiety and fear about it, so people are forgetting how to live. So it's a source of anxiety, the latest health scare. A lot of people are, I mean, you're just looking, you just, I don't know, you just,
It's like a mind thing, because like what you were saying earlier, like fear is supposed to be a natural state, like we are mammals, and I'm pretty sure before there was technology or before there was even, I guess, even this environment we live in, like only time you did fear is when you were actually physically in danger. Now it's your mind that kind of like makes you fearful for things like, oh, like I gotta cut my grass right now, and every time I look at it, like I get scared of cutting it because I know it's hot outside and it's a big yard, like. But it's like when it's sitting in your mind all the time, like what do you say, like Franklin Roosevelt, I think that was uh, one of them presidents. He was like the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. And I really never understood it at first because it sounded kind of crazy to me. But like that's just basically what it is, like the action of it. So when you kind of get forced into, if you're forced into, I guess your fear, like stuff that happens, like death, um, getting a car accident, or just certain things that you might fear, and you kind of forced to take it on instead of having an actual choice, then you kind of realize it's not that bad. Like, so you just over here, you've been worrying all this time because of something may happen, and then when it does, like, it's like, okay, it's not that good.
for example, I got a real good example. I don't know if you all have an example as well. But when I was in Officer Basic course, we had to go through this slide for life. We was on a 70-foot tower, and I mean, I know how to swim, but I'm not the greatest swimmer. And then they were telling you you have to slide down this tower on a cable. And before you hit the wall, you need to drop into the water. But you need to make sure you let go and drop into the water. They told, I mean, I was the last one to go. They was like, you gotta climb up the tower. The only way you're gonna get down is to slide down. You can't climb back down. So me, I'm like, I'm not going. I'm not gonna do it. No, no, no. They tricked me up there. And when I got up there, they were telling me the only way you can get down is to slide. So I said, what if I don't let go when I get to this wall? Well, I guess you die. I'm like, really? So, but after I went on and slid, and then like I'm like, oh, I want to do that again. I want to do it again. I wasn't afraid anymore. And also, when we end up rappelling off a wall in the military, we have to rappel off the wall, and you end up rappelling, and I'm like, oh, I don't mind. But the first time I did it, I was afraid, and I guess we all go through those same type of fears that we overcome. But I wonder, when do we start being fearful to make you afraid to do anything? Just to
Yeah.
do stuff.
Like certain people afraid to eat sushi. like, like stuff like that. Like I mean, I ain't know what it was at first, and then you got us eating it, so I like it now. But
Right,
it's just certain stuff people don't even try it. It's like it's you don't think of it as fear. You probably just think of it as, oh, I ain't crazy enough to do that.
right,
Or somebody who drowning in 3 feet in a 3 feet
right.
pool.
So like, just stand up.
Like stand up, man, stand up. Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. So we have that type of thing. And then we were talking about overcome the fear of losing. Okay, one thing like some people end up overcoming the fear of losing, like you were saying. Well, I would say losing a house or losing a car, or even though I can tell you one thing that I really did like with you, Dre, is the first time you got your F. I
First,
wanted
what?
your F in school.
Uh, uh,
Because you always wanted to always get A's, B's, A's, B's. And I was like, oh, well, he needs to get, I need him to get an F. So the reason I wanted you to get an F is because to let you know it's an F, you get back, do better, and you can become better. But because I had a friend who committed suicide because he got an F in school, in college. He ended up getting an F. I'm like, really? I ain't say it like that, but you don't kill yourself because you got an F. But yeah, so I was happy when you got your first F. So now you know, okay, I got an F. Now all I got to do is just build back from that. Failing does not mean you are a failure, and that's another thing. Fear. The older we get, go look at an older person try to learn how to skate. Watch how afraid they are of falling.
Oh,
Uh,
like someone named G.D. Chess said, Franklin D. Roosevelt said, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself in his first inauguration." I love that quote.
oh, okay. She's from
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It was FDR.
FDR. Franklin D. Roosevelt. Okay. So yeah, we were.
He was one of the presidents.
Again, there was one president. So we got to understand what's going on. Even now. So what to say? Fear is not designed for a purpose for anxiety. It's a function, like you were saying, it's for that particular area. So where are we in that? I have other things underlined. So we talked about retreat. I'm on page 6 now. Oh, Franklin D. Rose, you just said we're on that page right now. We can skip over there.
See, told.
Page 6. It says, let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror, which paralyze needed efforts to convert retreat into advance. So yeah, it's the added. So your lens, like you were saying, Dre, the lens of fear, what's gonna make you move forward. So here we go.
I know another thing he was talking about. I guess because yeah, 50 like co-wrote this book as well. So what's the dude name? Robert Greene.
Yeah.
He was saying that like in observing 50 just going around and everything, he realized like cause like he never knew his father, and he lost his mother when he was 8. Like his mother was murdered when he was 8, and then he started like he was in the streets doing certain stuff, and basically went to jail, got shot. Like got to the I guess the point of like so many like peaks and valleys when you like when you have to do, like, fend for yourself for so long, or the more you actually go through, like, I guess the old saying, whatever don't kill you make you stronger.
Right.
Kind of like that in a sense. So like when you come up, when something comes up that's not as bad as what it could be, it's like oh, okay, like I can handle it, like I'll be good.
Right. So these are things. So a lot of things that I believe we need to go through, or if you're playing a game or have some type of simulation to push you through it, that makes you be allowed to overcome certain obstacles. And one of those obstacles are there really to build you up, especially if they're good. Well, good or bad, you're gonna learn either way. It's just hopefully the bad, but you're gonna end up. Well, he did end up in jail, didn't he? So those areas. What is page 8? 2 days, 2 ways of dealing with fear. One passive, the other active. So you just got to know how to end up doing that. In the passive mode, we seek to avoid the situation that causes anxiety. This could translate into postponing a decision. So we end up getting the paralysis of analysis. So people who have paralysis of analysis, they're like, I'm figuring it out, I'm analyzing it, but really it's that fear.
Mm-hmm.
It's that fear. Yeah, so talk about, I did the military slide for life right there. Paralysis of analysis. Like when you were in Hurricane Katrina, were you afraid during? Well, you just didn't care. It was like we hear.
Yeah. Nah, like that's cause like we didn't know it was Hurricane Katrina. I mean, we knew it was Hurricane Katrina, but we didn't know
it was that bad.
It was like a historic event. Like we didn't know, like, so y'all was probably more scared than I was, cause y'all actually seeing it from the outside. Y'all seeing the propaganda. Y'all seeing where we're not at. Y'all seeing the worst of the worst that's going on the news. And we was in the dorm room for like 5 days.
You didn't know. But what about when you was like, Mom, I think we about to run. We about to try to get out.
Nah, cause they got to line us. They was lying to us about like they was like, yeah, they know we here and everything. Like if they wouldn't have ever said that, like we would have been good. Then they was like, yeah, go outside with a white sheet to flag the helicopters down. We was like, hold on, like I thought y'all said they knew we was here. You know, like so we was just getting mixed signals. I was just like, that was just like a frustrating part or whatever. I wasn't finna swim for real, mama. Come on.
But that fear, instead of me being passive about it, when I heard about that, I got on the phone. I went and contacted people who had the ham radios. I contacted people via email. So I started contacting people, and that's when it's like, oh, it's people.
And well, we was in the dorm room playing spades.
But
I did. But from the outside, we didn't know it was Katrina though. Like we ain't had no TV. Like we weren't seeing what y'all was saying. So y'all were injected with the fear, and we was just there. Like,
no fear.
Yeah, I mean, it was people actually out there that houses actually got flooded and stuff, and who actually had to swim, who actually had to do that.
Okay.
You know, but us, like we was inside a dorm room. We was flooded inside of it, but like we still had some food. We had people like looted some stuff, whatever you want to call it. Had food. We broke open all the vending machines. Had a whole bunch of bottled water to at least like wash up with. So,
which was a learning experience. You didn't have to say, "Oh, I don't have any water to wash up." It's like, you know what? Think. Let's bottle water. Let's go ahead and do it. But somebody was passive and they didn't know. They're like, we had somebody just being thinking and didn't want
to. That's what was talked about on page 8 in the quote. When he said the very first thing I remember in my early childhood is a blue flame jumping off a gas stove somebody lit. I was 3 years old. I felt fear, real fear for the first time in my life. But I also remember it was like some kind of adventure, some kind of weird joy to it.
Like a new challenge.
Oh, you memorized all that? You weren't even reading it. You just said it.
No, I'm the book right here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he memorized word for word.
But it's like, yeah, I feel like as we get older, we lose that adventurous aspect. Now it's like I don't, if this can hurt me, and like if the effect of this may be some kind of pain, I'm not gonna do it, regardless if I'm gonna learn from it. And that's a very unhealthy fear. Like also fearing the uncontrolled. Like if you can't control it, you don't fear what's being done because you're not in control of it.
Because you always ask yourself, what lesson am I learning from this particular event? Is it good, bad, indifferent, or whatever? What lesson can I learn from this event that allows me to move to my next level in life? Um, page 9 at the bottom. When we live in a relatively comfortable circumstance, the environment does not press us with obvious dangers, violence, limitations, or our movement. Our main goal then is to maintain the comfort and security. So, do you think some people can be too comfortable? Because we let's look at all the millionaires. Look at Tyler Perry. The reason why he pushed through his fears because he was home. And like, so it seems like some people who have made it, they had more to lose, or they did go through the most type of the hardest type of event, traumatic event, and it either broke them, because I'm sure some people probably end up breaking, or it pushed them forward. There was no safety net. The safety net was not there. So you believe if a safety net is not there, could you do better? Are we, and even now us, me as Generation X, dealing with you all, there was still a safety net. But I think that if you didn't have the safety net, do you think you would be further now than if you didn't have the safety net? You understand? If you didn't have the safety net that you have, would you be further now? You'd be crazy.
Oh no, no, you start going in and out for a little minute.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to.
I mean, like I don't think that like that we would be able to really know the answers if the actual mind process was instilled inside of us, which would still be considered a safety net, even though it's not a physical net, it's still mental, still something that's learned. If that's still instilled, there's probably still a big chance that people would move where they're at to this day compared to not having like let's say like you taught us a lot growing up. Let's say if you had different types of knowledge, you went left instead of right when you were younger and did had different experiences, then we would also end up following those different thoughts and different experiences. But there's always that one small chance for the bird to stray out from the nest and go somewhere else. So it all really depends. Different
Right, the
circumstances.
butterfly effect.
Yeah.
The
I
butterfly.
mean, yeah, because like the safety net, that could be something different as well. Because I guess there's a difference between being fearful and being smart. Is it, yeah, like they say, like it's a difference between being a gangster and being stupid. It's different between being smart and being scary.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on like what lens you're looking through. So like if I have a savings account, that's me creating my own safety net. Um, and it could be out of a certain type of fear, but I wouldn't call it fear. I would just call that being smart. Like because of experiences, past experiences, some will happen.
Right.
Like an instance will come up. So I guess that's like a different type of fear. I want to
But
say.
it's still fear because I know
It's like I say it's a healthier fear to be like, okay, let me make sure I got my own safety net in case anything goes wrong, or I got this money put up in case this person bail out on me on rent, or I got this, like just like fending for yourself, or just making sure you got yourself covered.
right, because it ends up being like I know me. If a banking account, if in my checking account, that's what I always try to tell our kids. You want to have I don't have no type of money amount. So once I get to a certain amount of money, so somebody asking me for money, or if I need to purchase something, I'm like I don't have it because I've reached that amount inside of my checking account. Period. I mean, because you never know. You don't want any checks to bounce. You don't have insufficient funds, but I guess that's why people have it connected for the insufficient funds as well. So you just Yeah, for the bank, you have that amount of money. I get frantic when I'm not making my money. I'm like, okay, how's this gonna happen? But let me tell you something that did happen. Something did happen. I was always used to making a certain amount and being able to pay all my bills at the beginning of the month. So as soon as the bill come in, it gets paid. I never understood how people end up stacking up the bill. Okay, it's paid. I'm going ahead and pay. Because as soon as the bill come in, I end up writing a check. And I got to the point. I had an incident when I didn't have the money, and I had to wait until the money came in to pay that bill. And I got so anxiety kicked in because I was used to paying my bills. And I was like, oh, this is the way it feels when people don't have money. so that was as well. So when certain things happen, and even with the fear of I'm telling all my business, people actually gonna listen to this. even even with the fear of losing his house when when I almost lost I said, you know what, the house ended up flooding. I didn't care about that. I'm like, I don't want the house anymore. It floods every time it rains. You know what, I'm like, forget it. I don't care about it. I don't want to even go. And then it felt like a whole
Well, I got some plates back here. Y'all tell me how these plates back here.
Paper plate.
place. You got all that stuff.
That's for fear of washing dishes right there. That is.
Washing dishes. So yeah, so we return, passive, avoid, event. So yeah. Anybody saying anything? While we all live, I'm not listening.
Yeah, I'm like, I was wondering, like, when do you get to the point to unhealthy fearlessness?
Unhealthy fearlessness. I wonder if they're gonna talk about this book because that's the 50th law, fearlessness. So the
Yeah.
introduction is supposed to be, I guess, by the time we finish reading the book, you're going through to having that healthy fearlessness.
Yeah, I think more we go along, like some might interconnect with one another.
Right.
I'm pretty sure some stuff go contradict each other as well, but you just gotta know when to do certain things at certain times. You know? Yeah.
Here's one. I pointed to something. They see the great power this brings to them. It soon becomes their dominant mindset. And I says, this is why we see those who rise up. Well, that's the Oprah Winfrey Child of Fame part. Because it's the fearless attitude is going through the boldness, the urgency, like we were talking about. You're creating those new models to move forward. So yeah, because it goes to Napoleon when they were talking about going through. Oh, I like the Frederick Douglass story. The example of Frederick Douglass on page 11. You all see that?
Okay, right there, the example on the bottom.
Yeah, at the bottom. Yeah. He said the great abolitionist, the writer Frederick Douglass, who was born into slavery in Maryland in 1817. As he later wrote, slavery was a system that depended on the creation of deep level of fear. So slavery was based on fear. So once Frederick Douglass did not fear what could happen to him during slavery, he stopped because he stopped being afraid of severe punishment.
Yeah. They said they stopped punishing them after a while. We're punishing them less.
And you know what? And the same thing with Ike. I used to try to discipline him the same way I discipline you. So if Ike does something like do some push-ups, okay, I do push-ups. I'm like, I don't want to do push-ups because it's a disciplinary action. I'm like, I'm gonna make you write the dictionary. Oh, I get to write the dictionary. I'm like, okay. Action to this guy because he is enjoying what's supposed to be a disciplinary action. So I didn't know what to do with Ike when it came to a discipline. Because what worked for you didn't work for him.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of like a good transition into the actual first chapter.
Focus. Just stay focused.